सूरज की पहली किरण के साथ दिन की शुरुआत कीजिए। सुबह का मंगल प्रभात आपको शुभ हो। सुबह सुबह हो खुशियों का मेला, ना लोगों की परवाह ना दुनिया का झमेला। पंछियों का संगीत हो और मौसम अलबेला। मुबारक हो आपको ये खूबसूरत सवेरा। हर सोमवार से लेकर शुक्रवार तक सुबह 6 से लेकर 9 बजे तक शामिल रहें रेडियो FBCTV पर हम सफर में रविंद्र सिंह के साथ।
Boleh sebentar kau dengan itu mampu. Gua nggak usah nih lanangan itu mampu. Nimbula, ayo Mr. Ben.
Lapa?
Nah, bagi kira menol kini dia lebih mata kamoni sih kena fang rumbukan.
Bula FM. Nama dua ada selling.
Tonight, new constitution to be released to the public on Thursday. Reserve Bank says the Fiji economy is stable, and Methodist Church introduces new logo. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade, and you're watching FBC News. The new Fijian constitution will be out on Thursday. This was confirmed by the Attorney General Aisaid Qayyum to members of the media today. Edwin Nund reports.
2 days from now, Fijians will get to see the constitution in the 3 major languages.
We have been, as you know, working on the translation of the 2 major vernacular languages. So on Thursday, the final version of the constitution will be released together with the vernacular translations, both in Itaukei and in Hindi. And then on the 6th of September, the Constitution will be assented to by His Excellency the President.
From Thursday, the public will be able to compare the Constitution and seek clarifications. This is more so to do with the translations.
There are certain, for example, words and phraseologies that are in the English language that may not necessarily have an equivalent in the vernacular languages. So this gives people the ability to be able to verify and to be able to give some feedback in terms of the vernacular, the translation.
Once the new constitution is available, there will be briefings with political parties, the media, members of the diplomatic corps and civil society groups.
Many people are obviously already familiar with the draft version, so what we will be highlighting is where the amendments have taken place to the draft version.
Fijians can expect some changes in the constitution when it's released in 2 days. Syed Qayyum has confirmed that over 1,000 submissions were received, and from these, a number of technical changes have been adopted into the final version. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
A female executive suspected of running off with company money was escorted back to China from Fiji yesterday. Chen Yi, former general manager of Shanghai Fanjin Insurance Agency Company, allegedly stole about $150 million from the company. She was arrested at Nadi International Airport last Saturday with another fugitive, Chen Jiangji, while trying to leave for Vanuatu. Chinese authorities asked international law enforcement forces for help and found the duo in Fiji. They sent a work team to Fiji and apprehended both of them in cooperation with police and immigration officers. The Fijian economy is stable. That's the confirmation from the governor of the Reserve Bank, Barry Whiteside. He was speaking at the Fiji Economy Update Forum in Suva this morning.
The forum this morning threshed out the solutions to issues plaguing Fiji's economy. Reserve Bank Governor Barry Whiteside got the ball rolling, saying sugar production is expected to improve this year.
While the government's commitment to revitalizing the sugar industry is encouraging, it is imperative that these plans are brought to fruition sooner rather than later, so that the industry is able to sustain itself without grants, subsidies, or preferential prices. However, it is well understood this can be a daunting and difficult task.
The RBF analysis basically shows that the Fijian economy is doing well. Governor Whiteside also pointed out that our debt level is estimated at just under 50% of GDP.
While we are a bit fortunate that we have relatively low external government debt of around 15% of GDP, which shields us from exchange rate risks, government must remain committed to reduce our total debt further.
economists did question the RBF on the forecast for the gross domestic product.
Is it also correct that part of that private sector investment for this year is the purchase of the Air Pacific Fiji Airways planes, and that if you take away that purchase from those figures, then the percentage of GDP will drop to quite a bit?
If you take away Fiji Airways, we estimate GDP investment to GDP growth at around 22%. So we're mindful of what you're saying, and we're aware of that in case we have to think again in terms of the policies that we're putting in place.
Discussions also centered on employment and development of the northern region. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
A new British High Commissioner has been appointed to Fiji, and he says he was glad to arrive during hibiscus and just before the release of a new constitution. Shireen Lata reports.
Roderick Drummond presented his credentials today as the British High Commissioner to Fiji. He is also the head of the South Pacific Network, leading the United Kingdom's engagement with all South Pacific countries.
Already impressed by the colour and the vibrancy of things in Fiji. I think arriving in Hibiscus Festival Week was a good idea. It's giving us an insight into a colourful, happy occasion for many Fijians.
Drummond says he is looking forward to enhancing the United Kingdom's relationship with Fiji and looks to address a shared agenda of political and economic development, including the challenges of climate change. The newly appointed British High Commissioner has also welcomed Fiji's new constitution, which will be released this Thursday.
Is it acceptable to the people of Fiji? Is it going to provide for arrangements that help create the conditions for for free and fair elections, for a process that moves Fiji forward politically?
Drummond will serve Fiji for the next 3 years. He says he was pleased to present his credentials to the President, His Excellency Ratu Ipeli Nelatikau, this morning, where the historic and close relations between the two countries were discussed.
A very, very charming occasion. He's a delightful man, and he himself embodies the long and close relationship between the United Kingdom and Fiji.
Drummond has worked on Middle East affairs in Algeria, Jordan, Syria, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, where he was deputy head of mission since 2009. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Coming up, Malolo Island Resort opens 9 months after Cyclone Evan damage.
Sophie.
And I'm Tix.
You can join us on The Breakfast Show
every weekday from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. right here on Today FM.
That's right.
Bola, oya wasala vilawa. Do bata ki au mena viwa kina tini karona kaloko na single boni moniti kina varomboka. Kako ni valatana no musini sari na kai samariando loloma leone vani ni nau. Omgori ke de mena viwa kina tini karona kaloko na single boni moniti kina varomboka na Bula FM number 2 en sere.
Welcome back. You're watching FBC News. The Methodist Church has a new logo which will be introduced at its 49th annual conference in Suva next week. Epeli Tukawasa reports.
The Methodist people will continue.
The new logo, a revision of the current church symbol, means to refocus church. Some of the changes are the position of the cross, the inclusion of a dove which signifies the Holy Spirit, and a double hull canoe on rough sea.
Of a double hull canoe than the ordinary canoe. Meaning that it can take more people, and then the sea depicting the rough seas that we have been through in the last 50 years. The history of the Methodist Church in these last 50 years have not been so calm.
Reverend David Nawanda says the renewed logo was accepted by the Standing Committee in a final meeting held at Nawuso Methodist Farm recently. This is usually a precursor to the annual church conference.
We have been thinking of refocusing the Methodist Church on its task as a church. What does it mean to be a church of God today? So much energy have been used in the past on other things. And we have been, people have pointed their fingers on us that we have been using lots of time on politics and little things like that.
All official documents, buildings, cars and other assets will also carry this new symbol straight after the conference. Epeli Tukuasa, FBC News.
Yangona farmers are being encouraged to plant more in order to take advantage of the import bans being lifted in overseas markets. Apisolome Dhokar reports with the current supply trend, Fiji will not be able to meet the expected demand in the near future.
Fiji is perfectly placed to supply Yangona to pharmaceutical companies in Germany and the United States, among other buyers.
There's about 2,000 chemicals that has been said to be present in Yangona, but 15 had been identified by research.
After years of being restricted from exporting, Uraya Wembuta says tests have found that Yangona is good for the body.
Of the 15 that had been identified, six chemicals in Yangona was identified that has some beneficial use to the body. So that has been confirmed at this point in time through work being carried out by the University of the South Pacific and also our people at the Cornevia Research Station.
The Agriculture Ministry says they are still mapping out how exports will resume, but farmers shouldn't wait to start planting on a large scale.
The Ministry of Agriculture is prepared and preparing now towards how well we can organize ourselves to fulfill what the market requires in terms of the pharmaceutical need. This is where the core activity for the ministry is moving towards at this point in time.
While keeping in mind the financial benefits of exporting, Waimbutna says local demand for grog should not be ignored. Apisolome Dhokar, FBC News.
Patients with kidney failure can look forward to better medical services after a new facility is completed near CWM Hospital in Suva. Work on the new centre started today and will provide outpatient services for people with kidney-related illnesses. Run by the Kidney Foundation of Fiji at Extension Street in Suva, the new centre will cost around $430,000. It's fully funded by Westpac Bank and should be ready by next June.
The purpose of opening this to have the kidney outpatient, correct? Like a cardiac outpatient. So this will be completely kidney outpatient, and you had a kidney problem, come forward and you will get it checked.
Services at the centre will come at a minimal cost. Local medical practitioners need training in treatment of sexually transmitted infections and overall health care in the Pacific. This has been highlighted in a Training of Trainers program for HIV and STIs in Nandi. Akosita Tale reports the Oceania Society for Sexual Health and the Fiji National University are behind the idea.
The main focus is the professional development of health workers and using these skills to train and educate the community. However, an important part of any training is support.
To make sure that whenever they're going back into their own countries, that they are able to continue with the clinical knowledge that they have and the skills that we've given them, by providing them with that ongoing support, which is often missing from a lot of trainings now.
Dr. Jason Mitchell says it's important to maintain consistency with trainings and professional needs amongst health workers.
So long as there are people living with STIs, HIV and have sexual health issues, there will always be a need for our organization because there's always going to be health workers who need that professional development.
This training will be able to develop and provide appropriate non-discriminatory services for the people.
Our medical personnel are trained doctors. They are not trained trainers to take the information down to filter it to the grassroots level. So this Training of Trainers program will develop them to take this technical knowledge and express it to the people in the outskirts.
The 5-day course will end on Friday. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Malolo Island, Fiji has reopened after completing a $5 million refurbishment. The resort was closed for 9 months following extensive damage caused by Cyclone Evan last December. Akosita Tale was at the opening.
Work started in February, and 8 months later, business is back to normal. The guest numbers have also improved quite quickly.
With over 5.5 million invested to significantly lift the guest experience and service levels here at the resort. To enhance the room product, the food and beverage outlets, and our guest amenities.
The major multi-million-dollar investment sees the Fijian family-owned resort welcome back thousands of return visitors.
To all our visitors, we know you have come here to find rest and escape from chasing those trains, those buses, being stuck in traffic, rushing, paying your mortgages, your bills, and all those school activities. This is the right place.
The resort underwent many improvements and introduced new facilities, including new staff accommodation and amenities. The resort is located in Fiji's Mamanuca archipelago west of Nadi International Airport. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
We now turn to sports and welcome back, Jamie.
Thank you, Jackie. Good evening. Coming up in sports tonight, Suva Rugby prepares for its third consecutive final in the Digicel Cup and hope to come out with a win this time. Also up ahead, Kachi Rugby kicks off in Suva. Details after the break.
Bula, I'm Wame. Join me every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on The Center Show with classic hits from the 70s as well as the 80s right here on Gold FM.
आपकी शादी होने वाली है 5 बच्चे होंगे 5 हाय मैं हूँ आपकी सहेली वेणु सुनते रहिए मिर्ची एफएम मैं हूँ ना 9 से 12 बजे तक
Welcome back. Suva is as close to the Digicel Cup as it's ever been, playing the final for the third year running, and the team is hoping this year will be their turn for victory. Shalvin Chand has more.
History is stacked against the capital side in the Digicel Cup competition. Coach Salimoni Ravavo has told his boys to pull up their socks and take the game to the next level.
For the boys to come to the semi-finals, up in the finals again. We just see some of the not Japan, some other step from the semi-finals into the finals. So just a bit of for them thinking that this is a final. We will never cross this line again this year.
During the round-robin games, Nandronga piled up the points against Suva at the ANZ Stadium. Things will only get harder with the final against the Stallions at Loanga Park.
It's never been easy for us. It's always been a uphill battle for us. Nandronga, is one of base in Nandronga over the years. They know when it comes into the final. They know. It's always been there. They say that when someone is born, Nandronga is born with a rugby ball.
During the round-robin games, Nandronga piled up the points against Suva at the ANZ Stadium. Things will only get harder with the final against the Stallions at Loanga Park.
Some boys are carrying injuries. We had the game last week. And so just mental. So the managers and the physios, they are looking after the fight.
Suva wants to win the Digicel Cup and defend the Fairbrother. This would be icing on the cake for its centennial celebrations. Shalvin Chand, FBC Sports.
For any primary school rugby lover, the ANZ Stadium in Laucala Bay, Suva was the place to be today. The start of the Milo Kachi Rugby Tournament brightened up the overcast Suva weather as more than 2,000 players got their kits on for the beginning of a 3-day battle. Elaine McDonald did the rounds on day 1 of competition.
Everyone wants the top prize. So far on day 1, we've seen a relentless defensive Kandavu outfit. A win for Bar over Lami's shown some promise, while central schools have mixed it up a little. But what stood out today were the outside teams who pointed out things most take for granted.
Especially how the new facilities have been built, and for us coaches, the Milo Kachi. To us all, the Milo Kachi tournament has enabled us to come and get into the new facilities.
Nandronga has taken the underdog tag this year. while a combined approach from the Western neighbours has shown they want to make a difference.
So you might see that there are some Indian officials around the team also, the Indo-Fijian officials. And we are honored to be here with these boys, even though we lost the first game in under 13, but this year we are taking part in all the grades from under 6, under 9 to under 14, and we hope to perform much better.
It was all under 13 and under 14 action today. Tomorrow, it's these young guns' turn, and if their faces are anything to go by, the Kachi battles have only just begun. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
The first amateur boxing bouts in 2 years took place last night at the Queen Elizabeth Barracks in Suva. The turnout was so impressive that the Fiji Boxing Commission are already working on staging the next event at the earliest possible date. Selvin Chand was ringside last night and filed this report.
This is what was at display last night as amateur boxers from around Suva put on a show for fans. What's more impressive is that the event also attracted boxers from Papua New Guinea, Samoa and even USA.
I definitely need to keep my guard up a little bit better and move around, but I won by unanimous, so I did decent for my first fight, but I don't want to get hit too much. No more hits.
Some clubs were happy and some felt the judges could do better, but whatever the result, they will be back.
Oh yeah, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back hard. So we gotta be ready. We are gonna come back hard, like real hard.
As for the organizers, this turnout is exactly the encouragement they needed.
The success for us is really, and the sport is that there are a lot of novice fighters, and at the same time we had boxers, a boxer from Papua New Guinea, a boxer from Samoa, who's a student at the university, and we had a boxer from New England in the United States. So all in all, with the Vendra in the super heavyweight all the way from Gelekuro right into 11, that's a successful night.
Tonight was first of the Monday night fights. After this, the Fiji Amateur Body will go back to the drawing board, sort out a few administrative matters, and they've promised that they will come back bigger and better. They're hoping that next time, more boxers and more clubs will turn out. Shalvin Chan, FBC Sports.
Well, while Kacha Rugby took over Suva, Schools Netball was the featured sport event in Lautoka. This year's Fiji Primary Schools Inter-District Championship at Churchill Park recorded its biggest number of participants. Elena McDonald has more.
While competition on day one's been tough, a certain group of netters have something to look forward to next year.
They've been invited to take part in this New Zealand Championship in October next year, and we have decided to take under 13. So this year we have selectors who are going around selecting from under 12, who will be our under 13 reps to the championship in New Zealand next year.
The under 14s have missed out on account of progressing to secondary school level netball next year.
30 girls that will come in, and then we'll have their trials in December, and then we'll select our final 15 to take to New Zealand.
Compared to only 18 districts last year, 27 are now participating, with the inclusion of newcomers Koro, Taviuni, Namukailau and Benga. They're still very much in the running for tomorrow's playoffs, but it's Suva Blues and Lautoka Maroons being the top guns to beat. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
That was your sports for tonight. Good evening.
The government is looking at upgrading and constructing new farm roads in the Western Division that have the potential to facilitate agro-based activities. Divisional Commissioner West, Commander Choweli Dawaki, says non-cane access roads provide access for commodities other than sugar in rural isolated areas. Just over $100,000 from the $1.5 million allocated for the scheme has been used up in the Western Division so far. The Waki says the government is expected to construct more non-cane access roads to open market opportunities for farmers. That time again, so Weather Girl, any good news in store for us?
It depends on how you take it, Jackie. If, like me, you were able to sleep in this morning, then the rain today in Suva and the north suited you just fine. For the western side, however, sunny conditions continue with not a raindrop in sight. Quite chilly today in Savo-Savo and the capital. Both centers are on 26 degrees. Pa and Lautoka enjoyed warmer temperatures today on 32 and 30 respectively. Tomorrow sees clouds and showers throughout the country, with even the west experiencing a downpour towards the afternoon. Our marine forecast states that there will be poor visibility in areas of heavy showers and thunderstorms. Tonight, we head to, as Stanley Sharma puts it, the beautiful town of Ba. Thanks for the photos, Stanley. I do admire your district pride. That wraps things up from my side. Guess I'll be seeing you at the Hibiscus Queen's Talent Night, Jackie.
Definitely. Thanks so much for that, Jen. The top stories tonight. The new constitution will be out on Thursday in the 3 major languages. 2 Chinese nationals suspected of stealing about $150 million were escorted back to China from Fiji yesterday. And the Reserve Bank says the Fiji economy is stable. Time for this week's poll question, and we're asking, are there new faces shaping Fiji's political scene? To answer, visit our FBC website. Remember to send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj. That's all from the newsroom tonight. Join us again tomorrow. Good night.
Nimbula, methango nimilote na isoro tambua. Nama kia umena rua kina ona na via kavi monite kina wakarambuka. Rongo mena via sana kina via baka baro takini ndreko malolo. Ena Radio Fiji 1 na wongani via niano. Ngai nama kia kina.
जहाँ हो प्यार का बसेरा और रिश्तों की खुशबू, वो है आपका अपना घर संसार. Join me on Ghar Sansar, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. only on Radio Fiji 2.